now. But it's like a lewd game show. That's what I'll say about it. It's for
take something important like your
Deku?
whatever you look like they're using a lie.
Johnny, you have gotten your tape back. What's the other answer? What do you need? I'll go check to see if your phone's over there. Emergency phone check. What?
Thank you.
It's not wear off, it's walked.
The Silver Sheep air guitar will be on sale after the show. Auctions will start at $20. Go from there. The bidding begins, or the bidding will go on for 24 hours.
All proceeds
She
go
will-
to the judges.
Yeah, no, the proceeds go to Nazi.
As he said, college fund.
Oh, Nagi's college fund. I promise he's getting the money.
He tries to be a different kind of superhero at an anime con.
I already successfully hosted a photo shoot, so...
Well, there we go. See, that's one check. So, judges, how much time do they have left?
Oh, they have about 10 minutes.
You hear that? 10 minutos.
For help, blue scrubby and pink scrubby.
Which ones do you want to get them to?
I want to get
Deku.
you
Okay.
the pink one too.
Cool, I'm not coming down there.
Oh! I'm changing mine to Joseph.
How many balloons have you two popped?
I know.
You're
It's like
looking
these
even.
ones over here on the left.
You get a score pad in consolation. Even your hamlet is too strong. At least it didn't pop.
Waiting for like one of the balloons just spontaneously combust.
No pyrotechnics, please.
More.
Ethan, would you mind? Oh, I was gonna say scooting over for Johnny. He's right behind you.
All right, so we'll just pass it down and we'll go.
Yes, and we need reasonings.
All right. So, Gengar, please step forward a little bit more. Not off the edge, but a little bit forward. I love you. You are my spooky boy.
Her spooky son.
My spooky son. I will choose you always. But
Proposing to Ethan right now?
But for Iron Cosplay today, I will be leaving you in the Pokebox.
So you broke up with Ethan today?
Are you insisting on dating my son? Because there's a lot of problems there.
I hadn't thought that far in my insults.
Deku. I love all of the...
Really quick, I'm sorry. This is like a weird reality TV show.
Let us do our thing, Chief. You had
It's like The Bachelor.
time to do your thing. We want to do our thing. Deku. She's fine. Deku, you did wonderfully.
Still
I
stealing
love your
the
ribbon
show.
boy, but unfortunately, you are not the superhero today.
You should have played like the fashion show music from Zoolander.
So can I get Mad M and Johnny to kind of get to the center here? Have you guys step back? I didn't mean to creep out. I swear, I just want to see you guys both up front. Okay.
This does add a tone to it.
Man, thank you so much for the sushi. It was delicious. I love everything you did with the prop work. It was great. It was super great. I love your googly eyes. Johnny, your prop is amazing. I cannot believe you actually made a wig. And
Everything is in
an
sepia
hour,
right now.
45 minutes. You made a wig. I actually really like your use of the fan there. So, to you.
It's now gone to black and white. That is a very abrupt change.
Of Iron Cosplay. It's Johnny.
Thank you, contestants, so much for participating. Oh, wait, Andrew's coming around. Yes, so the winner of Iron Cosplay is awarded a $40 joint gift card for their amazing cosplay skills. They can buy one pair of scissors with that.
You'll audition for something like on Monday, you'll hear back Thursday sometimes. Sometimes you'll go in for a live audition and be like, yep, you're the guy, so you'll start that day. I just did that recently for a movie. It was an audition to work. So it was like, we went in, we read for some roles, and then they were like, okay, here's who we want to stay. And then we stayed, and then we went and recorded those things for that movie. And it was just like, oh my gosh. So I had to like clear my whole schedule on like a Wednesday, just in case they wanted me to stay and record a thing. So that was weird. So sometimes it's immediate, sometimes like, what happened? There was one where I was just like, I auditioned for it, I totally forgot about it, and then like 2 months later, they were like, hey, you booked this thing. I was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot that was a thing. So it's very, sometimes yes, sometimes no kind of a thing. So you never know. Other questions? Right there. Yeah.
I wanted to ask this earlier, but I was kind of in a hurry.
Understand.
I talked to Faye about it a little bit. So I've heard voice actors do some work from home too, and like send it in. Is that just a regular thing, or is there like a process to that that's different from being in the studio?
So he's asking, do people work from home when they do voiceover? Yes, absolutely. I started out on these voiceover pay-to-play sites. So you pay like $400 for a year, and then you get access to like all these auditions. And it's like, there's like good and bad things about it. There's like Google should not be on there. Sometimes you find Google things on there. And it's like, you should not be paying people $500 for this thing that should be a national spot where people, that would be like the only job they would have to work that year. Like that's killing the industry for sure. But there's like a lot of things like, hey, we're a high school marching band and we want somebody to say these 2 sentences before everybody like charges out onto the field. They're not gonna go to like an SBV or a CESD and be like, hey, we want to get a union actor to like say these things and we're gonna pay them thousands of dollars. Like, no, they're gonna just like, hey, does somebody want to say these lines and we'll pay them like $150? It's like, yep, okay, cool. So it's a great way to start out, and some people they're really successful with that stuff. You can do a lot of e-learning stuff. You can do a lot of commercial stuff. You can do like industrial radio spots. You can do all these things. And like, I started out in my closet at home with a USB mic and my clothes as like the dampening devices. Like, I mean, you can do a bunch of stuff. I did a Marvel app and a Family Guy mobile app, like in my closet on a Blue Yeti. Like, so I mean, you don't need a lot of stuff to get started with this stuff. You can get an $85 mic that sounds pretty decent, pop in your closet with your laptop and just like get access to some auditions, press record, send them out. You might book a thing or two. It's a great way to just like learn and get copy and get practice breaking down copy. I did that I did 87 auditions before I booked something, and then it just slowly picked up from there. I did that for like 5 or 6 hours a day when I first got started, and just by the time I got in front of like an agency, and I had some things like, I did an IHOP commercial in my closet at home, and they're like, oh, okay, cool, this guy's booked some things and he can break down copy really quick. So yeah, you can definitely work from home. To do video games and anime and all that stuff, you need to be in studio. So if you wanted to have those opportunities, you have to move to California or Texas, where that work is for sure. Right over here, question.
What would you say the hardest part to becoming a voice actor was, and how do you feel about that experience?
What was the hardest part about becoming a voice actor, and how do you feel in retrospect? I feel like I got to a point where I was doing musical theater, and I was going to these auditions, and I was just like, man, my heart is just not in this anymore. Like, I just don't want to do this. And I was just like, the only work that I'd be willing to put in is voiceover. Like, if that works, great. If not, I'm still trying. I can say that I tried, but I'm gonna like go at this like whole hog. So I remember just getting over the doubt of it's never gonna happen was the hardest thing. And honestly, when you become, like, I've been lucky enough to become full-time doing voiceover for 2 years now. It's rare and it's incredible, but even when you go full-time, there are ebbs and flows of just, sometimes you're so busy you can't even take a weekend or like an afternoon to yourself, like because you have so many auditions and so many sessions that you're trying to book that you have no free time at all. And then sometimes it's like, I have a week where I have no auditions and all my shows just wrapped up and I have nothing going on. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's over. I'm never gonna work again. This is the worst. So just dealing with the voice in your head that says you're never gonna work again, it's over, or like you're tapped out, like, and just knowing that you are gonna work again. And it's just like, stick with it. That's the hardest thing, is just combating the voice that says you're not good enough, for sure. But yeah, it's a journey, for sure. Other questions? Right here in front.
So just out of curiosity, because you come to all these cons and you see all the hobbies that people like do and all the fandoms that they're in, but what are your fandoms like? Do you like, what shows do you watch? Like, what games do you play? Just out of curiosity.
What are some of my fandoms that I'm really into? I love me some My Hero Academia. Obsessed with that. Demon Slayer is incredible. I love that one. Oh man, what else? Video games. I'm obsessed with Final Fantasy. I have been since 7. 10 is my favorite. Let's see. I have to stop. Oh my gosh, okay, real quick. I had the absolute pleasure of, so I'm like a fan first. What's his face? James Arnold Taylor has an awesome YouTube channel. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. And he is the voice of Tidus and Ratchet from Ratchet and Clank and a million other things. He's awesome. So in his YouTube channel, he has a thing where he shows him patching into Fox to do the what's it called? The promo spots that he does for those, like Sunday night on Fox. Like, he's the voice of like all those things. So he'll like show him recording those from his home studio, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool. And then my friend that was one of the genies in Aladdin posted a video of him recording his audiobook, and I was like, I know that studio. He's at James Arnold Taylor's home studio. What the? Oh my gosh! And I had to like reach out to him. I was like, Scott, how do you know James Arnold Taylor? And I was like, oh, he's been a good friend of mine for 10 years. So like, let me get you his email address. And I was like, oh my god, that'd be amazing. I just wanted to say I was a big fan and like see if he taught class or anything like that. So I reached out to him. And I was like asking me, so I was like, I don't really teach class, but like we should get lunch sometime. Like, you're Scott's friend. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, thank you. So we like bought me lunch at this vegan place because he's vegan, and it was amazing. And he told me about how he got started, and I was like, dude, I gotta ask you about the laugh. And he was like, okay, here's what happened. I did it normally, like an actor, the way I would do it, and then the guy that the Japanese clients were there, and that happens sometimes with video games. The client will be there, and they'll be like, can you do it exactly the way the Japanese voice actor did it? Just one take of that? And he's like, I guess. And he just like did like the ha ha ha, and that's what they went with. And then everybody was like, James Arnold Taylor's the worst voice actor ever. He's a terrible actor. And like, there's all these memes of it now. He's like, I was directed to do that. So like, sometimes you have no say in it. It's just like, that's just what happens. I thought that was funny. But yeah, big Fire Emblem fan, big Final Fantasy fan, big Tales of fan, huge Super Smash Brothers fan. Just love video games. I play a lot of video games. Yeah, for sure. Any other questions? Of course, right here. Yes.
Okay.
The one covered in blue.
Yeah. Okay, so out of all of the characters that you have voiced, which one in reality are you the most like, and which one do you relate to?
Ooh. That's so hard. Okay. The first first thing that popped in my head when I lived in Philadelphia, I lived in an apartment with 3 of my close college friends, and we had a big row home. I had the biggest room I've ever had in my life. I could do yoga in that thing, and we had a big finished basement. My friends just like ate pizza, drank cherry coke, and played Super Smash Brothers every weekend, and we were so happy about that. So, we were just big old nerds. And so yeah, Josuke was way cooler than me in high school, and I wish I was more cool in high school like he was, but I was not. Next question. You with the headphones. Yeah, you have headphones.
Do you tend to spend a lot of time practicing, and what is that like for you?
Do I spend a lot of time practicing? Kind of, yes. Okay, so I read. The first time I tried out for that audition with Dubbing Brothers, and I had to read that script, I hadn't read a book in like 10 years. I just play a bunch of video games. It's not to say that I can't read, but reading out loud as you act is really hard. Try it. Go home and just like pull up a thing and just try to read like an audiobook, like just read a page of a book out loud, see how much you mess up. It's frustrating. So I would like in elementary school, I'd be the kid that like, okay, we have to read this chapter out loud, and we're taking it paragraph by paragraph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I would like read it like 3 times, like to myself, like, okay, it's my turn. And I would like try and that was just bad at that stuff. So I was just like, I had to start reading out loud every morning. And I've been doing that for like 2 years straight now. So like I practice that every single day. That was a hard thing. That's a great, if you want to get into voiceover, start that now. Start reading out loud every single day. It is really hard to do sometimes, and like especially for something like sales at work, you're reading some big words that you never heard of, and you just gotta play that off like you're the expert. I know exactly what I'm talking about right now. So yeah, I do that. I watch stuff with an open, like kind of like an active mind. Like when I watch a movie, or I watch an anime, or I watch a cartoon, or play a video game, I'll like kind of like study someone's performance and be like, ooh, I like that, that's awesome, I'm stealing that, I'm gonna do that in this, and no one's gonna know, but it's just like me, like with Hank Azaria from The Simpsons, all of his like characters are just him doing bad impressions of celebrities, like, what's his, Lou is just his bad Stallone impression, and like, who else? There's a bunch. There's a video online of him saying like, these are all my different impressions and they're just bad impressions, but since they're that, it's my own custom characters. It's like, that's awesome. So yeah, I'll watch stuff with an active mind. I'll steal stuff from people all the time, for sure. Right here in the middle.
Do you do like tabletop or other things that you do like fly in-house?
Tabletop. I just joined a gaming group like in the past couple weeks where they'll get together every Sunday and like for like all day and just play games, and it's so awesome. I'm having a blast with that. Like it's just like it's games that I've never we played like Lord of the Rings Risk and regular Risk, and like those are probably like as intense as it got for me back then. But now I'm playing like there's like a Lord of the Rings board game that is like the box is like this freaking big, and it's just like an app that you like it makes the map for you and tells you where orcs show up, and it's like stuff that the book is that thick, and they've already done the work and read those books, and now I get to play them and just know how to do it. It's stuff I didn't have the patience for back in the day, but now I do, and I love those. But yeah, there's like role-playing stuff. I forget. There was like a D&D light game that we played, and I was like, this is awesome. I love this stuff. So it's just like it's good improv training. It's like a free improv class. It's just fun, and improv is great as well. I would start doing improv classes if you want to get into this stuff too, because they're fun. You will laugh your butt off, and they're great for making characters and stuff too. So I highly recommend improv classes if you want to get into this. Any first-time questioners in the corner there?
What is the most funniest thing you've heard or seen in the recording room?
Oh man, the funniest thing I've heard or seen in a recording. Probably for recording Osomatsu. I don't know if anybody is familiar or not, but it is just a sketch comedy show, essentially, about 6 identical brothers. And it is just, there are so many times in the room that I had a line, but I couldn't, and since there are children here, and it's not an 18 and over panel, I cannot repeat any of those things right now, but there are multiple times that I just started busting out laughing, like during the line, and couldn't get it out. And luckily that was like maybe sometimes like the alt line or like the second alt line, so we already had like a good usable line. They're like, yeah, let's just move on. They're the ones that are like, no, I promise I can get it. Like, no, you're good. Let's just move on. So Osomatsu is probably the craziest things. or just working with Patrick Sykes in general. He's just a funny, or Christopher Bevins, like they're really funny. So, any other question is right there.
So for your different roles, like how do you make it sound different for like each role?
How do I make the roles sound different? Honestly, I don't think I do a good job of that. There are some people that are just like vocal chameleons, like the Billy Wests and stuff out there, and the D. Bradley Bakers, and they're insane in how they can make them sound just like completely different. There's oh my gosh, what is it? Episode 1 of Futurama. Fry, Dr. Zoidberg, and the professor have a scene where they are talking to each other, and it's all Billy West. Like, that's insane to me. That like it sounds so drastically different that it's just. He's amazing. I don't think I do the best with that. The only thing that I do is, you got like this right here, this is just like my normal voice. If I have a guy that I'm like talking to that's like another person, I can just put him down here in the chest or something like that. You make it nice and bassy and stuff. Or if there's a little kid talking to you, just put him in your head voice. So like if you have to have like 3 different people, I just try to kind of go through those things. There's also like, I'll add texture. He's gonna be a little gravelly. I'll add an accent. There's like things you can do to make them different if you have to. But for the most part, like I feel like Josuke is just me. Naofumi is just like moody me. Osamatsu is just like high-pitched energetic, like I had way too much coffee me. I feel like a lot of my things, like it's just, I don't worry too much about like, okay, this can't sound anything like this person. I just kind of focus on like, I'm just gonna do this and hope that I am a good enough actor that this is what they want and it'll be good. And like, I don't worry too much about like, okay, I can't, now that Josuke is my voice, I can never use my voice again for anything I ever do. I kind of don't like focus on that really, so. Oh! Hold on, technical difficulties. Does it still work? Check, hey, we're back. Welcome back, guys. Any other questions? How are we doing on time, by the way? 15 minutes, all right. Okay, any first-time questioners? Cat Noir. Do I remember any of the songs from my theater days? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I had the whole Aladdin movie just memorized in my brain when I went in for that audition, so I mean... What's that? Oh my gosh. Man, I lost my voice there, guys. Hold on. I'm just gonna give you an I can show you the world. There we go, that's all. Alright, any other questions? Right here.
This is like completely unrelated to what's happening, but you mentioned watching Invaders and earlier, so I just wondered if you saw like who
Yes, I did. Did you see it?
Yes.
So good, right? It's so good. I'm so happy it was back. There's other things happening too, like the Rocco movie just came out too. That was one of my favorites. Oh, it's so funny. That was one of my favorites growing up too, and it's so funny to go back and look about like how dirty it was for kids. Like they ate at the Choky Chicken, guys. Like that's. Elementary school me watched that show. It was so good. Yeah, I'm totally over the head. But yeah, I love Invaders Zim. That movie was so good.
I love them.
Oh man, I was so happy it was back. The Nickelodeon has a podcast called the Nickelodeon Animation Podcast, and one of the people that they had on was, I can't remember his name, but it's the creator of Invaders Zim. It was such a cool interview. Check that podcast out, guys, if you like cartoons. They have a couple voice actors on, like Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob, and Billy West was on there. Rob Paulson was on there. But they have a lot of the creators of shows, which is like a cool thing you don't even hear about a lot of times. Like Jim Jenkins, the creator of Doug, and the guys that made Avatar were the first episode. And just like hearing how the way they watched anime back in the day, like it was like somebody had a video cassette. There were no subtitles, there were no nothing. It was just in Japanese on a video cassette. Somebody translated that roughly, and then they would be on a microphone and they would read a script that they wrote of what was happening, and it'd be like in a big room of people. Like that's how people watched anime back then. Like I was like, that is crazy. And then they were big enough fans that they made their own, and it was a humongous smash hit. So like it's so cool to like see where people's journeys like start. It's really cool to see how people create shows like that. So Nickelodeon Animation Podcast, I highly recommend it. Any other questions? So many questions. Here we go. The best part about about recording for Agresco was getting to work with Patrick Seitz. I love that man. He's so cool. That was such a fun show to be a part of, and I was also so happy that I got to rap in that show. Patrick Seitz sent me, he was like, he didn't tell me about that before I got it, but he was like, hey, just a heads up, you need to rap in one of the episodes. So here's one of me doing the rap, roughly, sorry, here it is, learn this. And it was incredible. He did it like, I got to do like a line each breath, so like we'd be like, here's this line. Okay, reset, here we go. And then we would hear that part, and then we'd go on to the second part. Like, that's how we did it. But he just did the whole thing, like, one shot. It was amazing. I was like, yo, freaking Patrick Seitz can spit bars, man. So, he was awesome. But yeah, the rap was really fun. But yeah, working with Patrick was awesome. Any other question? Right there. Persona 4.
Cosplay any character you voice, who would you pick?
If I could cosplay any character, who would I pick? I feel like Josuke would definitely be it. But I want to do something cool. I have something planned. You know, have you guys heard of Disney bounding?
Yeah.
It's where it's like a kind of like, it's not a full-on cosplay, but it's like a cosplay in the realm of somebody, and it's just like kind of. So what I want to do, I bought a suit. It's like kind of purpley, and I got it custom tailor fit to me and everything. I'm gonna wait till the hair comes out a little bit more, and I'm gonna like do a pop. I'm gonna get like some nice pins. I'm gonna get some nice suave shoes, and I'm gonna do like a little like Disney bound kind of Josuke thing. So that's coming in the future. I don't know when. And my sister also bought me a Josuke wig for Christmas. So it's ridiculous right now. I was like, I need to get in touch with some cosplayers that know how to do this, because like just on its own, when you first buy a wig, it's just like a little like hoop thing. It's like wham, and it's just like it looks terrible. So like I need some help on that thing, but we'll figure it out. It'll be good. But she's gonna use it first.
Can you wear it for taco?
Maybe. I hope. Possibly. Any other questions? Right here.
When you're watching like an anime that you voiced over, do you ever find yourself like reading the lines that you voice like in person?
If I ever watch any of the animes I've done, do I ever find myself reading the stuff out loud? Not really, because I'll forget. It's like a lot of times, like it was months ago. Sometimes I'll watch stuff when it was like a while back, and it comes out very much later. I'll be like, ooh man, I was green back then. Like I remember Jed from Hunter x Hunter: The Last Mission, that one movie that came out, was the first audition I ever had, and I was lucky enough to book that, and that was really cool. But I just remember like so nervous to like do that. I was just like, oh my gosh, they're gonna figure me out that I'm a fraud and I don't belong here. So I just remember being very, very nervous to do that. And so when I go back and watch that, I'm just like, ooh, I wish I could do that again. Like I was so green. But yeah, I don't. It's usually like too much time has passed. I don't actually remember a lot of the lines, except unless it's I'm for Nirvana. Then I remember that one. Any other questions? Right here.
Will you be in any upcoming animes?
Will I be in any upcoming animes? Yes. There are some things that are coming out that I'm very, very excited for, and I hate that NDAs exist because I can't just scream about it right now. But keep up with me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will definitely scream about those when I have the ability to. There's some really exciting things coming up, so. Other questions? Great.
As someone without a medical background, what do you think about cells at work and other entertainment series? And did you learn anything? Is there anything that still confuses you that from cells at work?
Absolutely. Okay, so the question was, I don't have a medical background, but I had to be in Cells at Work. And how was that whole process? I learned so many big words from being on Cells at Work. We had to do this whole thing where we would watch the thing, we would see it, and then me and Christian, the director, Christian Lamont, we would go in, and we'd have to like look up a video of something, of somebody actually saying the word, and then we'd be like, okay, cool, and I would like write it out phonetically so I wouldn't get lost. But there were like 3 weird big words that I had never heard of like in a sentence. And you just gotta like play it off like, yep, I'm the master of this, I got this, I know exactly what I'm talking about. I had no idea what I'm talking about. So that was always really, really hard, but I did learn a lot from being on that show, and it was really cool. One thing that we did was we recorded the entire thing, and then we had a doctor come in, watch the entire show of what we did, and he'd be like, oh, actually, that's not a bacteria, that's a bacterium, or like, just give us notes of what we did. And then we were brought back in for pickups, and we re-recorded a bunch of stuff to make it as medically accurate as an anime like that could possibly be. But I thought that was cool that they actually like spent the money to like make it like that. I thought that was cool. I love that show. It's so good. It's on Netflix now. Check it out. What's up, Platelet? Other questions? In the very back corner. Nintendo or Sega? Definitely Nintendo. I didn't have a Sega growing up, but we had an Atari for a long time, and then we had the NES in the basement, and we played the crap out of that. My Uncle Peter right there, he showed me so many awesome games. He introduced me to Mega Man, so I owe him a lot for my love of video games. And then we got Super Nintendo, and I remember we always got everything pretty late, so I was totally okay with that. I remember it was a minute till the 64 boom happened, but I bought that off eBay when it was out for years and years. And then I played Conker's Bad Fur Day, and that's my favorite game of all time.
Yes.
But yeah, Nintendo. I'm a Nintendo guy for sure. Love me some Sega though. And 5 minutes, guys. Okay, if you have a question, we're gonna lightning round this. Raise your hand, and I'm gonna just get through everybody. Okay? Question right here.
Have you heard of the Duang?
Have I heard of the Duang? Yes. Kira Buckland showed me this. It's the funniest thing ever. I wish I could record some of those lines as she was getting. Other question. Favorite Broadway show? Oh my God, Spring Awakening. I love me some Spring Awakening. Right here.
Other than yourself, what is your favorite Fire Emblem 3 Houses character?
Other than myself, who's my favorite Fire Emblem 3 character, I really like. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so hard. I like Bernadette a lot. I felt burned. Next question, right here.
What's your favorite part for each voice?
What is my favorite part of each voice actor? Just getting to do them. Just getting to be in the room and just get to be creative. That was always my favorite. Just being there, getting to play was the best. Right here.
So now you have your choice of gigs. Is there any kind of character that you shy away from?
Now that I have my pick, I totally don't. I still have to audition for everything. I can be choosy in a term of if something makes you uncomfortable, you can say no to that. If it's kind of racy stuff or something, you're maybe I don't want to do that. I have been lucky enough that I haven't had to deal with any of that yet. So we're doing good. Next question. Next question. Right in the back there. Yep.
You notice most JoJo actors are in Kingdom Hearts. Is that something you want to pursue?
Oh my gosh, I wish everybody's in Kingdom Hearts. I beat Kingdom Hearts 1 5 times. I beat Kingdom Hearts 2 5 times. I love me some Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts 3. Next question. Right here.
Have you ever had fun with your voice over the phone where you did a prank call?
Have I ever had fun with my voices I did prank calls? I did start testing out different characters when I get telemarketer calls, and that's a really, really great exercise for all you future voice actors that want to test out voices. They love it. It's their favorite thing. Any other questions? Right here? Which house am I in Fire Emblem? Oh, Black Eagles represent all day, every day. Next question. Right here.
You can travel to any universe you've been in, and you voiced it. Which universe would it be?
Oh man, if I could travel I would go to Moria. I think it'd be really cool just to hang out and get food with Josuke and Koichi and Oguyasu and go get a time food and Tonga. So that'd be the best. Next question. In the very back.
Do you have any tips for new voice actors doing their own thing online or whatever?
Wait, say it one more time?
Do you have any tips for voice actors doing their own thing online, on YouTube or anything?
Absolutely, keep doing it. Just start. Don't think about it. Just throw some stuff out there, and you're gonna learn so much. Let's see. Read out loud every day. Improv classes. And yeah, just if you're doing it right now, keep doing it. If you've been thinking about it, and you just it's been in the back of your head, start. Just start. I wish I had just started so many years ago. Next question, right here.
My friend, he wants to go into voice acting, and he's done reels for himself. Looked into other looked into some businesses, looked on YouTube and stuff, but none of them is coming back yet. Do you have any advice to me I can give to him, or motivation?
Keep at it, because sometimes you're just gonna be oh, it's never gonna happen. But it totally, if you want it hard enough, if you're willing to just take the time to there's a Blues Traveler song that they say, "There's no such thing as a failure who keeps trying," and I love that quote. So keep at it. Any other questions? Are we good to get there, everybody? We did it, guys. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for coming on my Q&A. This has been awesome. It's so nice to be back home. I appreciate you guys.